Hey there, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday, everybody who's watching this live today on Friday, or whenever you're watching it, happy whatever day it is. And so today, I was kind of wondering what we could work on today. We being, I guess, me, because we'll just be watching along as I work on stuff. I don't really have anything to, like, teach about today, but I thought it would be kind of interesting to talk about another challenge kind of deal that's going on over on Instagram. Instagram likes to do a daily challenge for each month. Not Instagram in general, but different people on Instagram, they'll post something that can be done every day, like index card a day that has different prompts, and it runs for 2 months. But there's one called Junk Journal July, and I haven't done any of them yet, but I know that they look really fun, and I think I've been seeing people using the tag and posting to the different tags using the prompts. And so I thought that today maybe we would look at what the prompt is for today. Since today's the 9th, that would be, today would be pattern. Well, pattern is a really good one. And I'll give you just a little quick tip about Instagram. If you use Instagram, maybe you don't, but what I do is if you're scrolling through, or somebody talks about a post that you're interested in, when you're on your, like, let's say I want to say, I like this a lot, this picture. Well, guess what? There's a little thing right here, this little flag. That's a save button. If you save it, it goes into your saved posts, okay? And when you go to view those, because you might be like, well, how do I get to them? You can come over here to your little profile, and there's this little button, this little menu up in the corner. You hit the menu and you go to saved. And you have different collections here. So you can actually save to a specific collection, but all of them go into the all posts. And so what I do is when I see somebody's posted a daily prompt idea that I really like, I'll save it, like I did with Junk Journal July. And then I can go back and refer to it each day, or whatever the time period is for that prompt, usually for daily prompts. So if you save it, and if it tells Instagram, if you save something, that person posted some content that you really like. And so it's another way of showing Instagram that of getting interactions with the medium. So if you're not on Instagram, that's perfectly fine. I understand this is a Facebook Friday, not necessarily an Instagram Friday, but just something fun that's going on. And so you can zoom in, you can look at it. I just thought that was really cool. So today's for the 9th, and you can really do any of these in any order. It doesn't have to be the one for today, right? But it just helps, like, if you want to follow along. So I don't know how easy you can see it. Yeah, like that. So here we are looking at an iPad on an iPhone. Isn't that funny? Okay, so today's prompt would be pattern. Okay, and it's hosted by Meg Journals. And really what you do is just like any other thing with Instagram. Once you create your project or your page, you would just go back and once you take your picture, you would hashtag it with Junk Journal July, so that the people who are watching that tag, which I also am, so when you see a tag that you like, let's go back to that one that we just did. Saved. So Junk Journal July, right? You can find here's the tag, Junk Journal July, just hashtag Junk Journal July. And then when you tap on it, you can hit the button right there. Mine says following because I am following it, but you can hit it and it'll say follow tag or something like that. And it's always important to make sure you press the recent, because top is just going to show you the most interacted ones, the ones people have seen the most. But recent is going to show you the ones that were posted like today. Okay. Lots and lots of fun things to look at on there. And if you follow it, it will show up on your feed. So when you scroll through. All right, there's my Instagram crash course for the day. I like to do Instagram Fridays. This is really pretty. Okay. So pattern is today's prompt, which is really great. Actually, let me go and show you another one. I'm going to go search for Nicole. She's my buddy. Here's, see if she posted the prompts. I don't know if she did or not. Okay, so the prompts for the Mixed Media Menagerie have been announced. And yeah, here's the prompts for this month of July. Sorry. So the color is color mixing, which means playing with, primary colors or whatever, mixing some colors together. You need to use some sort of fine line applicator. So I've got my Pico Embellisher patty paper, which is these little squares of which feels like deli paper, but it's a little bit different. It's a little smoother than deli paper, I think. So, and they're nice that they're in these little squares. Water soluble crayons. So I've used the Dina Wakley scribble sticks because I have those in the store, but I also have Neo Color 2s that are water soluble. The theme is repetition. So repeat patterns, repeat colors, repeat something. And they recommend substrate of using the Dina Wakley blue journal, but I have the black journal, so that's what I use. Although I do have the blue journal in the store if you want one. And then they used Ephemera by Erin. But of course, we didn't get the Ephemera by Erin pack, so we can use whatever ephemera we want, just whatever mixed in. I always like to use pattern paper and, tissue and book paper, and I used some tea bags this time. So I started working on it. Usually I wait until last time I waited until the last Friday or last week of the month to post my video, and I did it on the last Friday before it was due. But this time I just thought I would show you kind of what I'm working on. I'm not necessarily done yet, but so this is what we've got so far. Hi, Emily. Welcome to my live video. Okay, so I was just going over the prompts for the Mixed Media Menagerie, which Peacecraft Love, my store, is a sponsor of for the month of July. So they announced the winner for the June challenge. Maybe I'm not the July sponsor. Maybe I'm the June sponsor. I don't know. But they announced the winner for the June challenge, and she was given a $30 gift certificate to the store. She's very excited about that. And so if you can, go over and watch on YouTube the videos from Nicole and Erin and Laura. They're the 3 Mixed Media Menagerie ladies, and they do their videos of the prompt. So as I was playing, I was trying to play not on camera, which is difficult for me. But so I was trying to do something with a napkin, because in the videos they had a napkin in their ephemera pack. I pulled some book paper. I pulled some tea bags that I had saved from really literally brewing tea and then just waiting until it dried, dumping the tea out, and then you can use the tea bags like this to collage. And then I just started, I did some color mixing on the deli paper, and I used that as my substrate as my basis for mixing. As kind of my palette paper. Deli paper doesn't work very well. This isn't deli paper. Patty paper doesn't work very well for color mix for palettes. it moves around a lot and it gets very wiggly. It's not very heavy. An actual palette is a lot better when you want to mix colors. But it worked okay for what I was doing, and I started just making some different marks and repeating designs. I like this yellow that has the orange because obviously it's yellow and red, but I like how it shows yellow and orange at the same time when you smear it. So I grabbed a few pages that I liked, the colors, which of course were the cool colors, because I like cool colors. And then, so I grabbed my green and my purple, and I grabbed the dark blue, which was actually created from the blue. This is primaries. I used all the primary colors, primary blue, primary yellow, and primary red when mixing. And when you add just a tiny bit of red, it makes it a really dark, rich blue. I believe it was red. And then I thought I would use some fabric, but I haven't figured out how I'm going to use that yet. So, yeah, so it was fun. I did some scribble sticks on the back here. they were a little too bright for what I wanted to do, so I took some of the patty paper, because Erin did this, no, Nicole did this in her video. She scribbled with a Stabilo, and then, which is water soluble, and it turned into kind of a cool gray. She makes a puddle, and then she uses it, and so, and this is all in her video too. But I did it, and then what I did was I took the paper that, this isn't a good example, but this one, and it was just so, it looks so neat, and it made such a neat overlay to the bright color. It really helped tone it down instead of just me. I thought about throwing some gesso on the page, but, and then I drew this lady, kind of similar to what Erin did in her video, because she drew a lady. And I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put this fabric, because I really want the fabric to stick on there, but I'm not really sure where. So that's kind of my overview of my challenge page. Not sure if I'm done with it yet. It was just kind of fun to play with some different prompts from what I'm used to. And that's what's fun about the Mixed Media Menagerie, is that it literally is a random assortment of things, and you can make some interesting things as you go along. Also, now I have a whole bunch of these like tiny collage papers that I can use going forward, and I'm excited to be able to use those. Also, I really love color mixing. It's really been fun, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing more with color wheels and actually color mixing with wheels. So I've been playing with different colors of yellows and blues and reds, and to see what kind of shades I can get, and that's been kind of interesting too. So playing with that, trying to explore, seeing where I go. All right, so that's this lady for now, but I don't think we're gonna do anything with her. I just wanted to kind of show her off a little bit because she's pretty, and she was on my desk. Okay, so for Junk Journal July, and it's funny because since the thing is pattern, you know, it's easy to do pattern. There you could do pattern a whole bunch of different ways, and this is my favorite junk journal because I created it specifically from random papers all around my room. Also using a video from Robin Marie, who's a very cool creator out there. I don't even know why this page is sticking in here. It's probably not supposed to, but that's okay. Yeah, those pages are probably not even really supposed to be in there. They look pretty neat there, though. That's a crazy page with all that blue. So where can we pick a page to do patterns? Here's a good one. This is a coffee or tea dyed page that I did, and this is just a random piece of scratch paper. Okay, so there's lots of different ways you could do pattern. You can do, of course, painting, right? You could do watercolor. Watercolor would be good, but I'm not set up right now to do watercolor, so we won't do watercolor today. Maybe we'll do a little bit of painting. You could just do collage papers. Like this is already pattern, right? Like this is already, there's some repetition here. There's some, I can just pull the, you know, just kind of something like that. The greens and the yellows play well together. I don't have any more blue because blue is a primary, so I don't really have any primary. This is yellow orangey, so that could be good. We could do more pattern. Let's see here. I don't know. You know, it's interesting. It's interesting to work on a page that already has words on it because that's not what I normally would do. So this is kind of fun. That's a pattern too. We could do something with stencils. Let me get my stencil book. This is my favorite way to store stencils. But it's kind of overflowing and I probably need to get another one. It's just a plain binder, right? And then I have I have page protectors with different color paper because it's supposed to be sorted based on kind of, it's kind of loosely sorted based on what the pattern, what the design on the stencil is. So I do love Tim Holtz. His stencils are pretty good for repetition of pattern. And it doesn't say that it has to be repeated. It just says pattern, right? But to me, that means repetition. I like circles. So I think the first part of this book is mostly geometric, and then I have a section that's all just words, and I have one that's graphic, like icons, I guess. I don't really remember. I should have made a key, but I didn't. But it's also just helpful to kind of break up what you're looking at. But I just put them in there, and you know, they work well as long as they're not too big. If they're too big, then you need a different book. But what I have for my bigger stencils, I have a book. And then if you get lazy and you don't want to put your stencils away, then you end up just with a whole bunch of them in one page. I have a bigger book that's actually supposed to be a photo album or a scrapbook album. It's 12 by 12. And that works for the larger stencils. Like this. See, it's a 12 by 12 book. And so if you have bigger stencils, which sometimes they do make them bigger, they fit better in the big book. I don't usually use the big stencils that much anymore. Okay. So let's see, maybe before we put these down, watch what's going to happen is I'm going to throw all this paint at the paper, and it's going to end up being very messy. Like we won't know what we're looking at anymore. All right, so I'm just going to put down a little gesso over here. And I'm only going to put it on this side because it has to dry. And this should just help the page. It covers up a little bit of the words, right? Because I don't really care about those words. And then it will prep the page so if we decide we want to put anything on it, like paint or anything. And we can put a little bit of just on this side. Pull it all together. So my favorite way to use a stencil is typically with a cosmetic sponge. They work pretty well to apply the stencil color to the background. Let me grab my heat gun here. It's actually, it's an interesting debate whether or not you should use a heat gun to dry your paint, or, which just is basically, to me, it's like acrylic. It's like white acrylic. It's just a little thicker. Or if you should use like a hairdryer on a cool setting to just blow it, on it. The heat might not be good if there's, I've heard there's, the chemicals in the acrylic are not good when you heat them up. So this is definitely a heat gun. I've used it to do embossing before, so it's definitely a heat tool. I said I wasn't going to do both pages, but actually I really like how that looks. So maybe we'll figure out if we can do something on this page that looks sort of like that. This page feels very thin too because it's just plain pieces. It's a plain piece of computer paper. So I probably will collage something on it as well, just to, if I collage a little bit of paper, of like book paper, then, and then probably scrape a little bit of gesso over the top of that. So this is the problem I have. I put stuff down and then I'm like, that's cool, but I should really do it this way. And then I end up realizing that I probably should have not put the gesso down yet. I did that last night the other night when I was working on my book, my other book. I put all gesso on the page because that's what I see people on YouTube do. And then I was like, why am I doing that? Because I'm just going to cover everything up with what's it called? Collage anyway. So that kind of was silly. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me to collage over gesso. Gesso's not there for, you don't need the gesso before you collage. Okay, so this is my new trick for collage. Put my gloves on. First, put your gloves on. Otherwise it becomes a huge mess. And see, even though these are kind of like one-use gloves, you can actually use them a lot. I have 2 pairs I rotate between mostly, even though I do have a big box of them, and I haven't had any issues with having to reuse them. Okay, so this is my new thing about collage. You can collage straight on the page, which is fine. I'll probably do that. You can take a piece of plastic, which, you know, if you use it, it's staying out of the landfill. So, that's why I'm going to use it. Like that. I like to do it for this. I like to do it it's almost like a palette for my collage medium, which is matte medium. But for this, because it's just straight, I'm just going to do it. Ooh, that's purple on the back. That's pretty. Should we do purple instead? Oh, I don't really want purple though. I actually don't want the color. No, maybe I'll do the purple. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just going to put a little bit of collage this piece down. And then, since that has purple on it, I'm sorry if there's a lot of shadows today. It's very cloudy and rainy. It's been a very cloudy, rainy summer, which I suppose is typical for my area of Houston because of hurricanes and stuff. But I feel like this year it's been more than usual. No, I don't want to. Okay. Maybe we put one more kind of right there. Kind of looks like it's overlapping a book page, right? La-di-da, as we collage and we do some things. Okay, so there's a page that we had a surprise on the back, which is probably really the front, right? This piece that had purple on it from a previous printing session. And then we will probably throw some more gesso down on that one. And this page is dry, so let's look what we're gonna do over here. So there's different things like, there's different types of journals. There's art journals, which I suppose are more like a real commercial book that you would take and you would paint in. Like, it has nice watercolor paper or heavier paper. You might have one that has mixed media paper. They're probably all nice and they're pretty and they're nice and that's good. And a lot of people that are artists, they talk about their art journals and they use their art journals for different things. And they say, oh, my art journal is like my playground. So I can go in my art journal and I can play and do whatever the heck I want and not worry about if I'm going to sell it. Because I guess with, you know, with commercial artists, you're selling your work. And so most of what you do is, a lot of what they do is going to be sold. So they have to be careful. So they can use their art journal as a place to play and test out ideas and do things like that. And so there's also, and to me, an art journal is similar to a junk journal, but a junk journal is made out of found objects around. Like literally this is made out of random papers that I've collected for whatever reason, or, you know, book pages and paper that's scrap paper and packing material and pages from old calendars that I tend to buy planners and never really use them. So I rip the pages out so I can reuse them and stuff like that. And so to me, a junk journal is just that it has that more organic, ephemera, junky feel to it. So a friend of mine, Ricky, she makes what she calls the same kind of idea. They're bricolage. She calls them a bricolage because that's a different word than junk, because junk is not really like a super nice word. See, bricolage. A construction or creation from a diverse range of available things, which is exactly right? So she makes little journals just like this. They're so pretty, and they go up on her Etsy store, and she makes little pockets, and that's the fun part about and she draws little pictures like that. Aww. And then so, you know, her little journals are so sweet and fun, and she always includes a little bundle of stuff in her books. So and she makes these little beads and things. I love buying books from other people. I like to make my own books, but this one I had to buy it because it says create story on it. So she finds the neatest things. She sells books, old books in her Etsy store too. So that one, and then here's one I made from a class I watched. We painted all the papers and then we made the book. It's very thick. The paper is very, very heavy. So that's fine. I think what I was doing with this one was, it was my, it goes this way. It was my samples of fabric that I've painted on to get an idea of what it would look like. This is with Dynaflow. So this is me. I stitched down the fabric that I had printed on, some of it, this journal. And then I have one more that I bought from Megan Quinlan. She's awesome. But like, I buy these journals and I could totally go and just paint in them, you know, and do something to them, but I don't, because they're too nice. I like them too much, and I don't know, maybe someday I'll go in and actually paint on them. I probably will. But I really love how it has the fabric on the cover, and it was pretty cool. So she's really cool. She does a lot of fun stuff. I really like watching her Instagram, looking at her Instagram. So those are those little journals while we waited for our stuff to dry, which it probably isn't even all dry out that way over completely. Okay, I digress. So pattern, let's see. Do we want to put it like this? I think we had it going the other way before. This one is a die cut my friend gave me. I like to be able to look at my journal and be like, oh yeah, I remember why I had that there. I remember that when my friend gave me that. All right, so I think what I want to do is, actually, if I have purple, green, I have a little bit more green. Whoops, maybe I should try to make these kind of go between 2 pages, shouldn't I? Ooh, we're having a long session today, but that's just how I work sometimes. Okay. So this one, and then the fun part about deli paper and this deli slash patty paper, hamburger patty paper, it's so funny. My husband bought the box of patty paper, and when I saw it, I was like, what is that? And he's like, oh, I want to make hamburgers and just make them in advance with the meat. And then just, you know, we put the patty paper in there and store them. I was like, cool. And then I've used the patty paper for art stuff more than he has actually used it. He's never used it to make hamburgers. So whatever. But, you know, it's so funny because I'm like, oh, I want to use that. And it's a box of like, it's like 500 sheets. I mean, so, okay. So I'm going to put these pieces that are pattern pieces down here like this, I think. They might end up changing when I start collaging, but this is the plan. And then, I'm just gonna throw that on there. Like I said, I like to use the thing as a palette, but then sometimes that idea goes out the window and I just end up using it straight onto the page. All right. I love this paper because it just melts. Like once it's down, like you really, I mean, it's just so fun. And I almost like it better than the deli paper that I have, which I also have a box of 1,000 of them, but almost 1,000, maybe it's like 500. See, completely different than my original plan, but that's okay. And now it just looks, it kind of looks like I painted this on here, doesn't it? Like it kind of looks like I did, but I didn't. So it's like faux painting. I would say if you don't want to get messy and you just want to play, you could do this with just, you could do this with your glue stick too. The Oohoo glue will probably stick no matter what. See? Melts. It just melts in there. Okay, where's that paper? There it goes. This is fun. It's almost like it doesn't fit, but that's okay. It works for me. I like it. Because my friend Sarah gave it to me. You just want to make sure you get the gel medium underneath and on top. So here we go here. Here we go with this. I just pulled that one piece down here off because I didn't like that it was overlapping on the green. Because I've decided that I want it to look like I painted these on here as much as possible. Put this off here a little bit. Except for the, you know, the blue one, that's not going to look like it, but it's okay. There. I'm still learning how to be less more is more, and more of don't go overboard. As you saw on my other page, I go overboard. That is what I do. I just keep going. So now, what I'll probably do is reach down here into my drawer and grab one of my pages that is my beautiful Dina Wakley collage papers. You can't really see them, but she has these beautiful pages. And I love them because they make it very easy when you're already working on collage to just put a picture, put a focal point down. I like this one. She looks like, to me, she looks so much like Shirley Temple. It's just really kind of funny. But that's not the one I want to use. Do you think she looks like, I totally think she looks like Shirley Temple. That's not bad. It's just what it is. The only thing about this, this is tissue paper, not deli or whatever, but it doesn't tear. I don't think it tears all that great. But I like the torn look. So I messed with it. Try to get it to look torn. There's really no other way tear it other than to tear it, so I think it's because it goes against the grain of the paper. Maybe once it's wet I can tear it. Okay, should we put it on the right or on the left? It says, dreadfully weak, gasping, seemingly unconscious, still the heart somehow beats on. That's nice. Okay. We're going to put it on this side because this is very white in the background, and, you know, then it's cool. Although I said I didn't want to cover up my green, but that's okay. I just did what I said I wasn't going to do, but that's all right because that's art. Sometimes that's art. The muse wants what the muse wants, and that's what it wants today. All right, I think I'm gonna call this a good after this. Look at that, it just kind of melts. That's what happens with the tissue paper too, it just melts. So maybe it's not as important to have a rough edge, but I do like to have that rough edge. I don't. In case it does show up on a white background, it doesn't matter so much, but. Yeah, there we go. Very cool. Okay. I like that a lot. This needs to dry. And I might even go back and add, I say this at the end of my videos because my videos run too long, but I might actually go back and add some more marks. But it's also very, very clean, right? This is very different from an Anna picture, or an Anna page. So we could let it sit here and see how we go with this. So, well, thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope that you enjoyed my random thing for Junk Journal July to do some patterns on my Junk Journal page. And I hope that you have a wonderful Friday, a wonderful weekend. And if you're watching this another time on Facebook or YouTube, yeah. I hope that you have a wonderful day no matter where you are, what time it is. So don't forget that I do go live on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram on Tuesdays at 9:30, Facebook on Friday at 9:30. And I post all my videos onto my YouTube channel, which is just Peacecraft Love. And you can see all the videos of the things that I've made and watch along, play along, doesn't matter, I don't care. It'd be great if you watch them. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely Friday. Bye for now.